I caution that this is, it's a guide that it's not final, and things get adjusted, but just give you an overview of what we're looking at next year. So in the 2024 budget, we have money to design Henry and Jail Street, kind of communicate with the downtowns, come up with a plan to see Jim Scott's vision through, I guess. And once we have that design this year, we'd like to do it next year. So and these amounts represent the amount that is required for utility capital. The projects are quite a bit more. Like, for example, Henry and Jail is about $1 million project, and 400,000 would come from utility. We have next year, we're designing this year, Vise Hollow Lift Station. That's down on King George Highway, down towards the old mill. That lift station is one of the oldest in the city. It needs to be upgraded. So yeah, we have that on our 5-year plan or next year. And our vision is to do Duke Street next year to start into that. So that's our major street reconstruction. So that's about a $1.2 million project, a $550 of water. Feel free to stop me anytime if you have questions, but I will stop at the end, I guess. In 2026, we did put some aside $1 million there to start getting into that sand replacement, if required, I guess, down there in Kerr Trailer Park, if we decide to go that way. I guess we put it aside. Shannock's Lift Station, we've, based on developments in Douglastown, multiplex and others, housing and things like that, a new lift station is required down there. Preliminary estimates about $2 million for that. And that's kind of we're looking
Director,
at.
I'll just pardon my ignorance on this, but what does a lift station do?
So, no problem. Good question. So a lift station that is to deal with sanitary sewer. Essentially, we want everything to, travel in pipes and go gravity, so it doesn't cost anything to move it. It all comes downhill. But we have 30 lift stations in the city that move the sanitary sewer. Pumps it along so that it can keep going along to the treatment plants. So, yeah, we have 30 of them in the city, some small, some large. But in Douglastown area, there's some capacity issues in Douglastown area that we need a new lift station. So that's come up in the last year that we've added to the 5-year plan. So yeah, I hope that addressed your question. And then we'd like to, we got Howard Street on the agenda in 2026. That coincides with kind of when that splash pad that the council is on their priority list. We'd like to get the splash pad done and fix up that street in that area. And yeah, make it a nice project and finish it up in that area. And then Sunnyside Avenue, there's some big issues there on the upper part of that street with water and sanitary we'd like to address. So that's kind of our vision for 2026. 2027, once the bridge closure is all done, we anticipate, we hope, King George Highway, we'd like to get back into that and do radio to Regent Street, the full underground. So the $1 million represents the water and sewer portion. The overall street is about a $2.4 million project. So we'd like to get back into that. We have some money in this year's budget to start moving poles. So, we try to think long term, and we're trying to think ahead to get ready for that. Edmonton Crescent has water and sewer issues. We'd like to fix that, as well as Hillside Drive. We have numerous streets that need, underground work. We do our best to try to fit them in. And then when we get into 2028, we'd like to bring Miller Mitchell, the last phase of our Newcastle water system upgrades, is to bring Miller Mitchell water up to our new control building. That essentially would provide water to all of Newcastle instead of just the downtown where it is now. Miller Mitchell have the best water in the city, and it doesn't have to be treated. Whereas the water, that comes into the water treatment plant has to be treated for iron and manganese. It's very high in iron and manganese, so it costs money to run that plant. So we'd save some money on that. We'd get it back into Kerr Trailer Park, like I said, kind of every second year. We set aside $1 million. I guess we need to firm up the scope, like I said before. We'd like to get back some street reconstruction. We'd like to do is McIntosh Street down there in Chatham. I'm sure if everybody drove it, you can see how bad it is, and the infrastructure underneath it is just as bad. So I would like to get that replaced. Crosby Lift Station, like I said, we have 30 lift stations in the city. A lot of them are old. We envision every 2 or 3 years replacing one of them, and that one definitely is on the list. And then we have a generator that to help provide, we actually used a couple on the weekend. We had no water in Douglastown, so that's what those are for, to provide our wells with the capability of providing water in the event of power interruption. So it's kind of, on the radar as well. In our last year, here's another lift station, St. Patrick's Drive. We have issues there, so we try to fit it in. So in the next 5 years, we got 3 lift stations that need to be done. And then King George Highway, down there, Kingsway Avenue, Miller Street, the water main needs to be replaced and paving. So there was a water break here a couple weeks ago. So I guess that can tell you how desperate that is. And then Bramley, we'd like to get into that. So that kind of gives an overview of what we're looking at for streets. Hopefully the money works out that we can do all this work. Costs are going up, and we got some challenges in there, but that's kind of our goal to see. So yeah, any questions?
Thank you. That's a lot of information. Questions either in council chambers or online? No? Okay. Good stuff.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, so that was a lot of information. Oh, yep. Councillor Ross Robinson? Oh, no, it just popped up for some reason. Technology is great when it works. So a lot of information, a lot of great planning ahead, both for the departments and for council's awareness, and an opportunity for us to communicate with the public as all of this work gets on the docket to get done. So seeing if there's anything else before we adjourn and give everybody a bit of a lunch hour. No? All right, so we will adjourn the meeting for today, and thanks everybody for coming out. Wasn't that it? No? No, I'm wrong. I missed one of those. Sorry, my fault. Q4 2023 capital project updates.
I'll explain we've provided quarterly lists to the council and the public as to the status of the capital projects. What you have is the status of the capital projects as of December 31st, 2023. Most of the projects, as you can see, were completed. Some of them have been carried over. I'll leave it to council to decide whether they would require information or they need further information on any of those projects in terms of when they are expected now to be completed and what might have been the delays.
I do have one, just I guess off the top of my head. So, and I think it's to Director Shanahan. The circulation desk. So it's taking a bit longer for the Newcastle Library. It's taking a bit longer than expected, to get that.
The issue is there's very limited amount of contractors that does this work, but we've acquired actually just in the last couple of weeks here. Confirmed that we do have Trifab is going to be looking after it, looked after our council chambers, so they're going to be starting on the project here in the coming weeks, and hopefully by mid to late summer, be able to have it up and operational. It's quite complex, and it's quite a different system, so, but I anticipate it to be, it's on the move, I guess. That is correct. It's not just a desk, it's a workstation. There's a lot of components to it. It's, like I said, just not a basic square desk. It's quite complicated. You're like everybody when I heard the price of it, I was the same idea until I seen it, the one that we had constructed in the library in Chatham. And it is quite complex, and there's a lot of detail in it. Like I said, there's computers, portions of it, there's electrical components of it, so there's a whole list of details that goes with it.
Sorry. I know those online may not have the detailed list in front of them, but any questions on any of the other projects that may in the chambers as well? Perfect. We'll make sure that full list is circulated to all of council as well, just so that there may be some questions for next time. Anything else?
I just would update it. We expect that the next corporate services meeting to have the 2024 capital list with expected completion dates of all those projects, and then they can be tracked throughout the year also. And so that you should have that next meeting.
Thank you. All right, we will adjourn again for the second time this meeting. Thanks, everybody.